A bad meeting, a couple of setbacks, and suddenly you've decided the whole thing is failing. But before you spiral, are you even looking at the right scoreboard? Because a number on its own means nothing. 100 leads this month, fantastic. Or is that a disaster? $1 million profit, best month of your life, or a quarter of last month's? The number can't tell you. Only the story around it can. This is the Matt J. Hanham Show, where I have candid conversations with inspiring people and turn topics inside out to help you grow your business and create more freedom in life. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Matt J. Hanham here, and so, what do you think? That number, a story. Does a number tell a story, or does a story tell a number? It's a great question, and I really have seen this so many times over the years, and I just I wanted to emphasize this point. It came out of a meeting recently, that a scoreboard doesn't exist without a story. 100 leads, like I said, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Did you get 200 last month, so 100 lead looks bad? Or if you only had 4 leads ever and 100 leads is brilliant? $1 million profit. What does that mean? This month, this year? What's the context? Is it great or is it terrible? It entirely depends on the narrative, on the story you put around it. But flip that, right? The truth, the story has zero truth without the scoreboard. Because when you've got a narrative untethered from the numbers, this is where you can fool yourself. We can move into false doom or false comfort. It's a real situation, and it's a trap, because it's easy for a bad meeting or two, or a bad sales call or two, or a bad month or two, really to distort your story, and emotion gets in the game. And, a perfectly good scoreboard is only perfectly good with the story that continues to go with it. Why am I saying this? I guess the numbers can stay the same and the story can be completely polarizing. So let me hit you with some real world examples, because maybe that's the best way I can illustrate this point. Your financials. Let's call you a small business. Do you know your numbers? Do you understand them? Do you have them in, relative real time, regularly reconciled, and you checking them? Or do you just do the litmus test and go, hey, it's mid-month and I feel like we're having a good month? Or it seems like this is a good month, right? Numbers, financials, super important. Are we breaking even on that project? Have you actually stacked our numbers and checked it? What is the story around what the feeling, there's a feeling and then there's numbers. Marketing is the big one. And, I see this so often. Marketing reports, I've never seen one that isn't absolutely flooded with hundreds and hundreds of numbers. But a whole lot less of the marketing reports I've seen do a good job on the interpretation layer, really explaining the context of what's what. And I think that's the point. You can send off a 20-page report spat out by any number of things, including your Claude or ChatGPT, but how is it interpreted? And this is where we really focus, as a business, when we work with our clients, is explaining what things mean, why we think the course of action is what it is after that, not just, hey, look at these numbers. The number's red, so what? The number's green, so what? The numbers fluctuated, why? There's this whole layer, and, we, often, I guess, fudge them. We fudge them with our story if we're not accurate and not tracking them along in the journey. So what's the discipline? The discipline is always to have both. The numbers have to be accurate and checked regularly. But regularly, you need to also pump through an honest story and pressure test the story against the actual numbers. Funnily enough, even in a finance capacity, then the numbers alone don't tell the truth. I've seen significant commercial loans, approved or denied based on the story told to a bank. I've seen valuations of large-scale development projects significantly change based on the story put around them. Same goes for the value of a business, an exit of a business, the whole reason someone buys or sells something. I mean, this is good marketing from that, good marketing and good sales from that standpoint, but it's not just about marketing and sales. I guess what I'm saying is that we're saying this to ourselves all the time, and there's usually a lag on one or the other. Are we lagging on the numbers being accurate and regularly checked, or are we lagging on spending the time to interpret and grab a story? And the reason why I think this is super powerful in this 2026 version of where we live and how we live is that we have these incredible LLMs amongst other things, and there's so much open source stuff available for you to help run and scan and check and consider. We can easily have the story, and we can easily have a lot of data at the same time. I think we're moving into a brilliant place for that. So to close, the scoreboard, the OKRs, the marketing stats, the financials, the everything, they don't exist without a story. Not well. And stories don't hold up without scoreboards. The truth only really shows up when you're balancing one against the other. And even then, we still bring our bias into it. So if you're a hopeful person, you're leaning on that side, anticipating the growth. If you're a pessimistic person, you're still going to be able to, tell a story, tell a good story, turn it bad. So really, how can you not have both playing at all times and leaning on the way you want to go? It sounds crazy, I know. And I've said this in front of rooms full of hundreds of accountants, and they're like, what do you mean the numbers don't stack up? It's like, what do you mean? The numbers are the numbers. No, they're just not. A number just really does not mean anything on its own. End of story. And so I guess the question that you can ask yourself is, when did a bad patch tell you some sort of false story? Or, was that bad patch just a lack of reporting, or vice versa? There really is always, when there's a delay in combining the two together, numbers and a story, that's when, we can create a bigger problem for ourselves. Thanks for the time, guys. That was another quick one, and I hope you are pondering the whole scoreboard versus the story thing. One doesn't mean much without the other. I hope you're tracking both. See you next time.